Good evening and welcome to the evening news. Making the headlines tonight, Governor Obiano reassures an improved security network. Anambra residents call for sustained progressive economic policies as they react to the signing of national minimum wage. Chief of Air Staff Brutai says Boko Haram now lurking around only in Lake Chad. More troubles for Nissan's governor as Japan authorities slam him with more corruption charges. My name is Chidima Oranwan. Now the detail of the news. Governor Willie Obiano has said that the security of lives and property of the citizenry remains paramount in his administration's agenda. Governor Obiano stated this during the Easter Mass at St. Joseph Catholic Church, Aguilera, in Anambra East Council area. Ejika Abana filed on the report taken from her.
While reiterating government efforts towards sustaining the tempo of tight security in the state and retaining its status as one of the safest in the country, made it clear that its administration will continue to deal decisively with criminals and defaulters of the law. He called on Anambra to extend arms of sacrificial love and charity to people they are better than, as it remains the best way to demonstrate the Easter spirit.
The 40 days of fasting is to enable us to cleanse ourselves of all the numerous, if you will, sins that we've committed. And I believe on the Anambra, time will usher in a new faith in what we are doing, strengthening of the good deeds that we are doing, and the period to throw away the bad ones, throw away corruption, pay our taxes as and when due, and stop illegal levies, collection, all those bad things that we're doing. This is the period to throw them away. It's a period to bring in the good works, prayer for the country, unity of purpose, ecumenism in the Christian church world, living with one another, irrespective of their background, religion, and what have you, So happy Easter to everybody in the Anambra.
Earlier in a homily, the Episcopal Vicar of Aguilera region, Reverend Father Matthew Obiekezi, admonished Christians to use this period of Easter and make peace with God and their fellow humans in order not to allow Christ's sufferings, death, and resurrection be in vain. The Mass had in attendance top government officials, including Deputy Governor Dr. Nkemokeke, Speaker of the State House of Assembly, Barrister Rita Madagwo, Chief of Staff, Mr. Primus Odele, Head of Service, Barrister Hariodo, Abga National Chairman, Chief Victor Oye, a host of commissioners, House of Assembly members, House of Assembly members-elect, among others.
Nigerians have been charged to imbibe the virtue of sacrifice to enhance development of the country. The Anglican Bishop of Agata Diocese, Right Reverend Samuel Ezofo, gave the charge while delivering his Easter message. Bishop Ezofo, who blamed the bane of the nation on the greed, charged those occupying leadership positions to use such in improving the living standard of the people, questioning politicians against acts capable of truncating the nation's democratic process. The Anglican prelate, who maintained that without the death and resurrection of Jesus Christ, there will be no hope for Christians, advised the faithful to abstain from behaviors that will make Easter lose its concept and meaning. He maintained that the period calls for sober reflection and advised Christians to re-examine their lives in addition to building bridges of trust, true love, and good neighborliness. The federal government has been urged to reduce cost of governance and initiate robust welfare packages for indigent people in the society. The Catholic Bishop of Awka Diocese, Ms. Reverend Paulinus Ezekafo, made the call during the Easter edition of Bishop Ezekafo's Feed the Poor initiative held at St. Patrick Cathedral, Awka. Correspondent Chibuzo Obidike has the report.
Which a monthly gesture aims at bringing the indigent people at par with the rich during the festive periods and on monthly basis to ensure that they celebrate along, irrespective of their denominations. Speaking on the establishment of social welfare scheme in the country for people living with disabilities and the elderly, Bishop Ezeokafor revealed that mismanagement and corruption have continuously made it impossible for the nation to care for the sick, homeless, disabled, and displaced persons in the country, asking all to participate in the message of impacting and touching lives of the people.
Even 5 naira per month for the government can help these people to buy basic little things. I have said it time with that number that the cost of running government in this country is very expensive. Think of the senators, the members of the House of Representatives, and what they earn. These things are cut down somehow. We take care of these people and take care of the persons. So it is there. The government must do something. Otherwise, the government is failing. And if they are failing as regards these poor people, I wonder what they will tell God at the end of the day.
Handing over the goodies to over 150 indigent persons, Bishop Ezeokafor, who said the initiative identifies people that lack basic things in life, prayed for the improvement of the country, saying that God has given Nigeria enough resources that when properly harnessed, we witness the comfortability of all.
This is a little provision we have made for them, praying God that the situation in our country will have improved, because we believe that if the situation improves for the better, the less people suffering difficulties and all will be reduced. Because I'm one of those who believe strongly that God has given this country enough of material resources that if they are harnessed well, everybody will be okay.
Responding on behalf of the indigent, one of the beneficiaries, Mrs. Nneka Ezome from Nise, while thanking Bishop Ezeokafor for his continuous support on them, described him as a true man of God with human face and prayed for God's unimaginable blessings upon him. The people were later presented with foodstuffs like tubers of yam, beans, garri, fruits, rice, plates, clothes, toiletries, among others, as well as transport fare to their various homes. In Oka, Chibuzo Ebidike, ABS News.
Reactions have continued to trail the signing of the new minimum wage into law by President Muhammadu Buhari a few days ago. Correspondent Emmanuel Chibata went around the state capital to ascertain people's views and reports that some group of people poured encomiums on the president, while a good number of others held opposing views. His report.
Of Oka, Mr. Samuel Moneme said that the signing of the bill into law was a great attempt by President Buhari, though there was delay while implementing it.
A good move, though there was a delay, but for signing the bill, it was a very good thing because the civil servants have long been waiting for that to happen, and for hearing that, he did well for doing that.
In their separate speeches, some civil servants, Mr. Chizoba Anakebe and Mrs. Cecilia Ifediora, who expressed happiness over the new minimum wage, urged the president to help reduce cost of market commodity so that the civil servants will feel the impact of the increment when fully implemented. On his part, a political scientist, Mr. Michael Okoro, explained that the signing does not call for celebration yet, except if the country's economy is repositioned to a viable height.
Call on the federal government of our dear President Muhammadu Buhari to please work on making the naira strong so that Nigerians could be able to import fuel and then things will be low. That is the only way we can enjoy it. It's not just by, because before you know it, the 30,000 naira minimum wage will not be able to buy anything again.
Mr. Okoro called on the federal government to harmonize with state governors to make sure that the new minimum wage is sustained, adding that the salary increment should not bring about fuel price increase, which will bring untold hardship to the people. In a reaction, the vicar of St. Peter's Anglican Church, Amobia, Venerable Chris Obodo, added that the problem of the country is not just increasing workers' salary, but for the government to manage the nation's receipts judiciously, so that everyone will live comfortable and meet their desired needs.
Let's say it is a starting of a point, so that maybe from there they'll still push on to go. But our leaders should know that people are really suffering and going through one thing or the other in any aspect. And so it is just what they say, that the rich are getting richer daily, whereas the poor are getting poorer. And at the end of the day, it is the masses that will suffer it.
In Oka, Emmanuel Shibata, ABS News.
The traditional ruler of Ojoto Idemlasa local government area, Igwe Gerald Mbamalo, has commissioned a 3.5 kilometers in Barnabas Road. The road now remained after the moniker of traditional ruler Ezoranyalu Road is a community self-help project cast at over 65 million naira. David Okokosile, who was at the commissioning of the project, has the report.
The project was initiated by the Ojoto South Development Union, the community association that covers Ojoto Obofia quarters under the umbrella Ojoto Akana Sato Union, OAU. The 3.5-kilometer road that terminates at the community's boundary with Oba is a spur to the popular Mary John Road and took less than 4 months to be completed. Speaking to the press immediately after commissioning the road, Igwe Mbamalo highlighted the importance of communities to partner government's efforts at holistic infrastructural development.
Communities normally rely on government for such projects, but we said let us contribute our quota, and as much as our government is trying, but let us assist government in the project. So
one is to develop Ojoto, and two is to help develop Anambra State and help our people. So in no way this is self-help.
First of all, we'll give God all the glory. I promise Ojotora that before Easter, we'll commission the first project. And this is what we are doing today.
It's a story to tell. And I'm so overwhelmed, I can't imagine it, that the community, people in this community could come out to do such a wonderful thing like this. It's a welcome development. And
with the completion of the road, the community has now set a trajectory for joint efforts in developing infrastructural projects in the community, as they have also benefited from the first and second phases of the Community Choose Your Project initiative. From Ojoto, Idemle South Local Government Area, I am David Obokwase reporting for ABS News.
And still to come on the news this evening, the Chief of Army Staff Brutai says Boko Haram now looking around only in Lake Chad. More troubles for Nissan's governor as Japan authorities lamps him with more corruption charges. The news returns after this timeout. Please to join us again.
History shows Diamond shared the dream to build more than just a bank, bringing the online revolution to Nigeria and becoming part of the networked society, helping to lift the country and continent out of recession to enrich its people too. Now, with our two banks fused together, we can help more move up the social ladder and help future generations make more of their lives, whoever and wherever they are. A new bond to help unleash the potential in every African who banks with us.
It's still the evening news. The Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Tiko Brutai, says the Boko Haram terrorists are being contained with the recent renewed joint military offensive against them in northern Borno and border areas. Brutai said the offensive has pushed them to the remote islands of the Lake Chad Basin, represented by Major General Lamidi Adoshin, the Chief of Training and Operations to the Chief of Army Staff, disclosed this in an interview with newsmen at Magunu in Borno North after celebrating the Easter with troops. He said the containment of the terrorists was made possible by joint operations by troops of the Lake Chad Basin countries, including the Multinational Joint Task Force, MNJTF. Earlier, while addressing troops of Sector 3 of the Operation Lafia Dole, Brutai expressed satisfaction that they have turned the tide against the terrorists, adding that it was no longer business for them as usual. In our sports, Novak Djokovic stretches lead over Rafael Nadal at the top of the ATP rankings today after the Spaniard failed bid to win a 12th Monte Carlo Masters title. Serbia's Novak Djokovic returns the ball to Spain's Pablo Carreño Busta during the Monte Carlo's ATP Masters Series tennis tournament on Saturday in Monaco. Djokovic, a winner of the last 3 Grand Slam tournaments, is now over 3,000 points clear of old rival Nadal, despite a quarter-final defeat by Daniil Medvedev in the Principality last week. While number 2 Nadal dropped ranking point after his title defense ended with a shock semi-final loss to eventual champion Fabio Fognini. The 31-year-old Italian reached a career-high ranking of 12th after claiming his Medine Master Trophy with a straight-set win over unheralded Serbian Dusan Lajovic in yesterday's final. Fognini jumped 6 spots too close to the top 10, while Lajovic climbed 24 places to 24th. Electricity consumers and workers have expressed support for the move by the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission to break the natural monopoly being enjoyed by distribution companies. NEC released last week a consultation paper on the development of a regulatory framework for electricity distribution franchising in Nigeria, saying the introduction of sub-franchising of this scale's operation and coverage areas were expected to improve the quality of power supply. The regulator said the overreaching objective of the proposed regulation and distribution franchising was to facilitate the development of favorable business models that will attract third-party investment in supply of adequate, safe, reliable and prudently priced electricity to customers of this coast. The chairman, Nigeria Electricity Consumers Advocacy Network, Mr. Tomi Akingbogun, in a telephone interview with our correspondent on Sunday, described the distribution franchising as a good idea, saying, if it is sincerely carried out, things will improve. Japanese authorities have hit former Nissan boss Carlos Ghosn with a fresh charge of aggravated breach of trust, the fourth formal indictment against the car sector tycoon. The Tokyo District Court confirmed the prosecutors filed a new indictment today, which paves the way for his legal team to apply for bail. The 65-year-old strenuously denies all allegations against him and insists that they have been cooked up in a plot by Nissan executives wary of his plans to bring the Japanese car giant closer to his French partner, Renault. Prosecutors are looking into allegations that Ghosn funneled some $15 million in Nissan funds to a dealership in the Middle East and siphoned off around $5 million for his personal use. Nissan said it has filed a criminal complaint against its former boss after determining that payments made by Nissan to an overseas vehicle sales company via a subsidiary were in fact directed by Ghosn for his personal enrichment and were not necessary for a business standpoint. Experts believe these are the most serious charges yet against Ghosn since he was dramatically arrested on November 19 as he landed in his private jet at Tokyo Airport. And that's just about it on the news. But before we go, a quick reminder that you can follow news and programs on ABS from any part of the world by liking our Facebook page at ABS Radio Television. Subscribe to our YouTube at youtube.com/ABS Radio TV Online. Follow us on Twitter at ABS Radio TV and on Instagram at ABS Radio TV. You can also log on to our website at www.absradiotv.com. And now the recap of our major stories. Governor Obiano has reassured an improved security network. Awka residents have called for sustained progressive economic policies as they react to the signing of national minimum wage. Chief of Army Staff Brutai has said Boko Haram now looking around only in Lake Chad. More troubles for Nissan Ghosn as Japan authorities have slammed him with corruption charges. That's it on the news tonight. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Chidimma Oranwa. Have a wonderful night rest.